I'm the best ever. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me.
Yo, bounce guy, go off.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Wilder's in a world of trouble, closing seconds. Can he weather the storm here in the third round?
And of all the superlative.
Big right hook, lands flush for Camboso, and that knocks down Teofimo Lopez. We have ourselves a fight.
Khabib Nurmagomedov gets a triangle choke from up top. Gaethje's out, and the fight is over. The triangle choke for Khabib Nurmagomedov.
And Porter gets knocked down. He gets knocked down again. 10th round TKO win. Left uppercut, and then knocks out Leo. It appears he's out cold. The fight is over. It was a counter left uppercut, and just like that, what a left uppercut. I did not see that coming, ladies and gentlemen. I will have to admit, what a fight.
Nice celebration for a 3K video. I don't know, man. To hit 3,000 subscribers and like
Right hook to the body for Campbell. Left hook to the body for Garcia. And that knocked down Campbell. It was a left hook to the body. Campbell on the ground. The count is on. Can he make his way up? It appears he can't get up. Campbell on the ground. Trying to stand up. And the fight is over. Ryan Garcia with a 7th round knockdown. What a performance. Guys, if you haven't, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. Do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. We're trying to do record numbers today. Ryan Garcia tearing up and crying. What a performance for Ryan Garcia. Well, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. #1 commentary channel on YouTube. It feels good to be back. Trey was supposed to have his opening 5 minutes like he usually does. You know, it's 6:59, and I thought to myself, let me shoot this guy a text so I could see what's going on, make sure he's good, because he's usually on time. Of course, I call him, he doesn't pick up. I text him, he goes, bro, I'm the worst. I knocked out. I could be there in like 30 minutes, something like that, right? So I don't know, man. I think he might have broke 100 in golf for once in his life, and now he thinks he's a big shot. That could be it. I'm not exactly sure. So let's just recap UFC 303 in the meantime while we hang out. So I was the ironic part of this all is that I was actually on time for once. I'm sitting at my computer at like 6:50. I'm like, oh, I'm on time. I'm ready to go. Got everything turned on. And Trey, as usual, he just, you know, underperforms, right? As far as he comes in the opposite of clutch. And the reason why I said I don't know who that is, Hito, is because Jamal is not spelled like that, and so is Cheeto. For the record, what's up, Daniel Berry? Welcome to the stream. Joe in the building as well too. Welcome. Fat people have a hard time. Wow, with sleep apnea now. Jeez. It's a cold world out here, man. It's a cold world out here. If you guys want to join in the call as well, by the way, the usual, join in on Discord. And if I see you on there, I'll drag you down and we'll have a discussion. But shall we quickly go over our thoughts after, you know, it's been a few days on UFC 303. Remember, the first fight was Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page. Myra Bueno Silva versus Macy. I never want to see Myra in the octagon ever again, but that's a story for another day. Anthony Smith is another one I might not want to see ever again. And he loses to Roman Dolidze. Dan Ige versus Diego Lopez. Interesting, surprising fight on a 3-hour notice, which is pretty crazy. And then Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka, where Jiri's arguably or potentially might be considering retirement, as crazy as that sounds. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Trey fell asleep with Cheeto dust on his fingers. I mean, it's a shame, man. But it feels good to be live on a Wednesday. I almost like it a little bit more than a Monday. The only difference is that Monday you could react pretty quickly to whatever has transpired, where on Wednesdays it's a little bit, you know, a few days removed, but that's okay. But let's quickly go over Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page. I think those that have said, including, myself and a few others, was that we could expect that this fight is going to be a little bit boring. And the reason for that is because there's two counter strikers, two fighters that rely on their striking, and we just felt like there wasn't going to be much of a mix-up in martial arts, and kind of Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page, where that fight wasn't the most entertaining. The same thing happened here. Now, is that Ian Gary's fault? Initially, I was blaming him, but it's kind of MVP's fault too, as far as when he was taken down. There really wasn't much that he could have done. But when he was standing up, he was outclassing, I would say outstriking Ian Gary. So that was quite interesting to me, where MVP has to do better as well too, if I have to give him some kind of accountability. Joanna Man in the chat. What's up, Joanna Man? We do have one person that wants to join here, so let's quickly add him. It is Hito609 on the call as we speak. What's up, Hito? Yo.
Give me 1 second, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I hear you now.
What's cracking, Hito? Any thoughts on UFC 303, and what are your initial thoughts or post-fight thoughts?
So I guess Trey's alarm clock, Drew didn't wake him up. Let's see. Drew's not in the chat either, so
I think they actually
had a couple's nap or something.
Yeah, so I don't know who slept over whose house. I'm assuming Trey slept over his house this time, and Drew gotta drop him off and say goodnight. So that's why I think he added the 30 minutes. What's up, Steve Williams?
Drew sits in the corner and watches. We know what happens with that.
Wow, that's interesting way to start the live stream. What's up, Hito?
303. Okay, so Ian Gary and MVP. All right, let's talk about this. This is interesting. We talked about this briefly before. Ian Gary's claims on MVP cheating, and he should be suspended for trying to pay money to his camp to get inside information. Now, what's your thoughts on that first?
On whether he cheated or not, or whether it should be penalized?
Whether it should be penalized.
See, it has been happening in sports for years, right? And I can't think of any moment where it has actually been penalized. But Ian Gary, I mean, everybody loves to hate him, but one thing that could be that he has done well as far as bringing that up is maybe it should be penalized. Thinking off a whim, I do think it's a little corny to try to infiltrate another person's camp. So that's cheating at the end of the day, right? Is it worse than steroids? I don't know. That's what I guess I would ask you.
Well, here's the thing too. Monetarily, it affects, like, if that information gets out of certain injuries, tweaks, and stuff like that, changes the books for Vegas. I mean, that with that right there, it's kind of like a Pete Rose situation, with baseball. So, but it's been in combat sports, it's almost celebrated. If you remember, Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Tank was almost laughing about it and talking about, like, hey, I know what's going on. I know this person messed you up in sparring. Like, it was celebrated. But ultimately, like, if they find out about little injuries, I think, like, stuff like that is looked into by the government, But for some reason, in combat sports, nothing. It's okay to just talk about it out loud.
I don't know if this is the best example, Hito, but travel with me here, right? Two examples in a sense. Do you remember Otani with the whole gambling situation, where it was his translator that was guilty? Well, he didn't necessarily pay a price, that being Otani, right? It was kind of passed on. But then there was a Venezuelan pitcher not too long ago that he took like the majority of the blame, and he's basically banned for life. The reason I bring that up, another example, James Krause back in 2022, if you remember. Remember that was a guy that he would have inside information on certain fighters, so he would gamble and he would win big, and then he got caught.
Yeah.
He had to get penalized for that very reason. That's essentially, to me, the same thing, having inside information and then using it for your benefit. Now, I'm not saying that MVP was gambling or Ian Gary, where that's a little bit different as far as, like, illegally gambling, I guess, with inside information, but isn't it kind of the same thing?
Yeah, if you look at it this way, what if I found out that like you tweaked your knee a week before fight camp?
Right. Yep.
Hey, let's switch up the Saturday and start going for these leg kicks to the knee. Let's go for like what's that one kick? It's a certain term for a kick where you go like directly at the knee.
The
A lot of
teep,
people feel like it should be illegal. What's that called?
a teep to the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like with that information, yeah, it gives you an advantage. Where I think he has a point, and I think something like that should be penalized because you shouldn't have it shouldn't be openly celebrated that you have like people paying money to get inside information in the camp. I mean, the whole thing it just reeks unfair, and I don't know, like it takes away from the competition. You know, think you're going against somebody healthy, fight them like you're going against them healthy, and see who's the better person.
What if too? Just to bring another what if, the first one that comes to mind, and Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley. What if Aljamain knew that Sean O'Malley had a rib injury? That changes everything.
He would have took him down the whole time.
Aljamain Sterling would have retained his belt. So it could be, I guess, the consequences of having that information for the person that got infiltrated, as far as like the information, it could be severely devastating. So as much as we want to hate on Ian Gary, I think he might have a point on this one.
I agree. I'm not the biggest fan either, but I agree with the point itself.
I thought he was your favorite
Been
fighter.
him being a crybaby, bringing it up. But
What, wasn't Ian Gary your favorite fighter?
since when?
Oh, I don't know. I could have sworn that's on tape, so maybe I have to go back through my videos. I don't know. I thought you said that before. I'm almost pretty sure. I would almost bet my life on it. As far as a fight, Ian Gary and MVP, how do you feel about it?
Meh. I think they got it wrong matchmaking. I think actually MVP he is a little bit of a highlight machine, but if you just get somebody that can grapple with him, I don't think he's as entertaining as it seems. So I don't know. I feel like not that very impressed with MVP. Ian Gary is just Ian Gary. I want to see him fight Colby. I think that'll do some good numbers at least for the press conference. But yeah, it was like a 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it was a little boring. Yeah, and that's what I think we meant Tarzan too, as far as an oblique kick where you kind of side.
You're right.
Kick, or yeah, where you kind of like turn your foot almost horizontally right to the knee. Yeah, I think 5 out of 10 is a little bit what you would call it. I guess is overrating it. I thought it was like a 3 out of 10 as far as it's two strikers that are supposed to be elite. And what we get more is a bunch of clinching against the cage, a takedown from Gary. I mean, Gary did what he had to do to win. Now, a question for you, I guess, is are you upset or have a problem with the way Gary approached this fight and won?
I thought somebody was gonna lose by KO. I'm disappointed in both. I thought
Okay.
one or the other was gonna lose by KO. But yeah, no, it's just this. I don't know. Like I didn't really. I don't like. I don't know where you get that. I said Ian Gary's my favorite fighter. I think that's kind of wild. You're just throwing that out there on the internet. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, just something I wanted to say.
But yeah. So like, I don't know what I had going into it because I'm still trying to figure that guy out. I think
Yeah.
I don't think we have like the full blueprint of who Ian Gary is as a fighter. Has he been properly tested? I don't think MVP was the proper test, and I don't think he really showed me anything that fight either. So, yeah, that's
So
all I
who's
really have to
next?
say about that fight.
So who's next for Ian
Kobe.
Gary?
Kobe and Dana said no, they didn't offer Kobe to fight. Supposedly, he said Kobe doesn't turn down fights. Dana White said Kobe doesn't turn down fights, so no, we didn't offer him the fight. So maybe they're trying to drag it out for another card.
So did Ian Gary lie to us again? Didn't he say something about Kobe didn't want it? Or I could be wrong on that one, but I could have sworn I heard something like that as well too.
According to they're gonna say what they said, but according to Dana White, he said Kobe doesn't turn down fights. So that's what we got from Dana in the press conference.
Yeah, I guess I like that fight. I don't mind it. It is a stylistic clash, and maybe that's a good thing because when it's two strikers, things like this keep happening, like Ian Gary, MVP, Kevin Holland.
That's the crazy
MVP.
thing. You guys wanted Stephen Thompson in MVP to fight. That would have been you'd have had like 3 punches per round. Like those guys are both like, yeah.
So that's actually what Plug said in the chat as well too. MVP versus Wonderboy should be next, and it's funny that you disagree, but Tarzan agrees with him. What's up, Tarzan? Tarzan always showing up, man. Much love. Steve said I had some back picks, MVP, and here we went down. The MVP pick wasn't so bad. The here we won. Not that it was necessarily bad. It was just because he was winning the first fight. So I guess it's more of Alex Pereira maybe has his number, of course, and he just has that eliminator, that one punch knockout power. Hito, any last thoughts before I get Chris Faith in here? Maybe you could come back and talk about Pereira versus Hiri.
Plugs. Who are you, man?
that's the last thoughts you want to get off your chest.
Yeah.
All right, we'll add you back, bro. Thank you. Let's add Chris Faith in the building. Here we go. What's up, Chris Faith? Welcome to the stream.
Glad to be here with you guys. What's up, Miller? What's up, Gito? I mean, Hollywood. Gito is good.
I just took him out. Unless do you want me to add him back in here?
If you want to, I don't mind.
Oh, okay. Chris might want to address you, Hito. So if you still hear us, Chris is in the building. What's up, Chris?
What's good, guys? I just want to say happy early 4th of July. I know it's tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Let's talk about the aftermath. I'm grateful for Alex Pereira winning, and I'm not here to talk trash or smack to what's it called, Yuri Prohaska. Yuri Prohaska is a good guy. Trust me, he doesn't suck anything. He's not like Rockkick who sucks. But no, like I could say that was unexpected because I thought it was gonna go to the distance, like you probably like a third or fourth round. But I did not predict that it was gonna have a knockout at the second round. I didn't predict that.
And why is that? Why were you confident in maybe it going a little bit further when the first fight ended in a second round knockout? I'm assuming you thought Hiri was gonna make some adjustments.
Because I thought like the adjustments too. However, like according to Pereira, he said, oh, honestly, he kind of, meaning GD and his team, kind of leaked out his training session. This was like on that actual night when they was gonna fight, but before the fight, I'm like, yeah, that was a big no. He should have never done that. And Pereira knew what was gonna happen, but Pereira was like, no, that's not happening. With that kick.
Yeah, no, Pereira is just a beast of a specimen, I guess, as far as what he's able to. He's always able to find that punch. It's just against Hiri, he found it 2 times already early, which is quite incredible.
What can you say? He's 2-0 over Yuri Prohaska, 4-0 in light heavyweight, and guess what? A second title defense surpassing Lyoto Machida, who couldn't keep going.
So, an important question for you, and I want to hear what the chat says as well too. Maybe I'll make this a poll in the chat to see what people think. When it comes to Alex Pereira, what do you rank him as far as pound for pound?
Even though he's number 2, I consider him number 1 because he hasn't lost in light heavyweight. But we all know Islam is still there, and the only way he cannot be there if he were to lose. But like, but no, like, a lot of people has been exploding social media, especially Instagram, saying, oh, he should go up to heavyweight. And I'm not the only one. Joe Rogan even said that the Dana White, this was on the night, he was like, hey, try him out heavyweight. I do want to see him go at heavyweight.
I want to see that too. And you know what's the weird thing, Chris? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about this as well. It almost seems like everybody wants him to go up to heavyweight besides Dana White.
I think Dana White has ADHD or something because he is so stupid. Because he always thinks, oh, but you know what's so dumb? So he exploded on the reporter and said, oh, John Jones is the greatest of all. Oh yeah, the greatest of all time. No. Let me speak the facts. And this doesn't go back years ago. This goes back last year to currently this year. Both of them are 36 years old. Well, actually, Alex Pereira's birthday is this Sunday after the 4th of July. He'll be 37. What did John Jones do at the age of 36? Tell me. He didn't do none. He was supposed to fight Miocic. Didn't happen. He decides to go to Bellator versus PFL and say, I want to fight Francis Ngannou. Oh, wait. You didn't fight him 3 years ago, so what's the point of him fighting him 3 years later or something? Then he decides to go to Australia playing Dickfoot with rugby players, and he
Right.
decides to not. He decides to stupidly turn down a fight for UFC 300. That right there, he fumbled the bag. Falsely accuses Tom Aspinall, saying, "Oh, he's holding up the division." How is he holding up the division and you're the actual champion? And look what Alex Pereira did when he turned 36 years old. He, aka Alex Pereira, fought four fights in the light heavyweight division. John Blachowicz, Yuri Prohaska, part one. Jamal Hill, and part two of Yuri Prohaska.
That's speaking
Four
facts.
fights at the age of 36. John
That
Jones,
is
what did he do at the age of 36?
good question.
Nothing. Just nothing but being on Twitter back and forth, like he's having a freaking dildo, like singing with it.
It's
Wow.
it's frustrating, right? Because again, I don't think we're saying that he's not the greatest of all time, but when it comes to pound for pound current fighters right now, I agree with you. John Jones hasn't really done anything recently as compared to Alex Pereira. I would even say what Pereira done at 36 is more remarkable than I think what anybody has done at that age.
Chris, I got a question for you.
Ask me the question, Gito. I mean Hollywood Gito.
Me and Miller have been debating, so I want to see your thoughts. If Alex Pereira goes to heavyweight, does he beat John Jones, or does John Jones win that fight?
You know, you're not the first person to tell me that. A lot of people have been telling me that, and I've been blasting them on that. I was like, listen, John Jones may think it's easy, but look at John Jones right now. He's not 23 years old. The last time
Let's
he
go,
beat a guy
Chris.
for the
Let's go,
champion,
Chris.
that was 2011.
Let's
Guess
go.
what? 2011, I was a junior at that time in high school, and I didn't even know who John Jones was until 2015.
Right. Let's go.
That right there, I started to know John Jones. And you want to know what was the first fight I got to see of the UFC? Jones versus DC Part 1. And you know what's funny is that guess what? This year marks 10 years since John Jones defeated Glover Teixeira. I would imagine if he achieves what Glover Teixeira could have done 10 years ago in 2014. I didn't see the fight in 2014. Well, actually, I saw replays of it on YouTube. And I know that Glover Teixeira got dominated. What do you think the results will be with Alex Pereira does the same thing to Jones, what Jones did to Glover Teixeira 10 years ago?
This guy's an encyclopedia. It's insane. Number one.
So I think that answers our question. It sounds to me like you're basically saying Alex Pereira would blow him out the water.
Bro, I could see a ultimate downfall. It will be the biggest, greatest upset of 2024. Bigger than the fall of Volkanovski, bigger than the fall of Tyson
Wow.
Fury, and what else? What other guy fell? Oh, bigger than the fall of Devin Haney.
Oh, so you think Pereira knocks him out cold, basically?
He's gonna give John Jones the ultimate stare, a stare that John Jones won't even look at him dead in the eye. He'll think, oh no, he'll probably look at his chest. He'll probably look at his chest and his nipples.
Let's
John
go.
Jones always does.
Hito, Hollywood Hito, anything you want to say to this?
I think the only fall is going to happen is when John Jones falls to the ground with Alex P and then takes over and dominates Alex P. I'm sorry.
Stop it.
I think I just think you guys are. I understand. Like he took out year. He fights a lot of strikers, man. He fights a lot of strikers, but John Jones is the. I don't know how to. No Diddy, but like he's the complete package. And
No Diddy.
but this is a heavyweight. You think he's gonna have an easy time taking down Pereira, a heavyweight?
He bulked up. He spent years bulking up for this weight. It's just not like.
Mhm.
I think this is his weight now. So, I think even at light heavyweight, John Jones win. He's the greatest of all time, man. And I think if Pereira's one dimensional, it's not enough to take down John Jones. I'm sorry.
He's only the greatest of all time in light heavyweight, but he's not the all-time great because he didn't break the record of Jim Miller, not even Randy Couture. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he does have a 15 title win, and there's the record right there. But he doesn't have the record with Jim Miller. Jim Miller, we all know he never became UFC champion. But if John Jones was never out those 3 years, heck, he probably would have been the top right there. And especially Randy Couture, even though We all know he's doing some Hollywood acting and stuff. Not trying to mention your name, Hollywood Gito, but but no, the thing is, look, like Randy Couture line pay-per-view events, and Jones, he's tied with Tito Ortiz. No, you can Google it. He's tied with Tito Ortiz for 16. Who's 17? Anderson Silva, 18. Randy Couture, 19. No one. I would have seen John Jones. Guess what? Last year, a guy, and this is not UFC. A guy named LeBron James broke the record, a record that Michael Jordan should have passed a long time ago. He did what Michael Jordan should have done a long time ago. Right there, right now, he's the GOAT. Well, I'm not a big LeBron James fan, but everybody calls him the GOAT. Well, I don't call him the GOAT, but he's GOAT.
Point for you guys. A couple good messages in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about this. Plug says, John is shooting a takedown within 10 seconds. Tarzan says, so some people agree with you, Hito. Jones takes him down. I love this message. Tarzan says Leon is above Alex pound for pound, more well-rounded. I mean, he couldn't be more right. And then Plug says, I think John versus Stipe will tell us a lot. My question to you guys, does this fight ever even happen?
I'm not interested in John versus Stipe. That fight should have happened 7 freaking years ago when I was 23 years old. I'm currently 30 years old right now. And you know what I wish for my birthday? Late last month, the great fall of John Bone Jones.
Does that fight even happen? Like, if we had to bet, what fight is more likely to happen? John Jones versus Stipe or Conor versus Chandler? Like, which fight is that? Are both fights going to happen? Do you guys have any faith in either one? What do you guys think?
I have no faith in Stipe versus Jones, like I said, and I'm going to keep saying that again and again and again, and I do not care who spits and who spits. I don't care if that fake Dark Knight known as the Blur likes it or not. That fight is not going to happen.
Really? You think so? Does Jones ever fight again?
Fight, but it's not going to be against Stipe Miocic because my prediction says otherwise.
So who do you think he's going to fight next?
You know, I keep thinking it's going to be the winner of the interim fight, but something tells me that winner of the interim fight might have an injury issue. Something tells me that's going to happen.
So do you think John Jones is going to somehow step in? Like what do you think exactly is going to happen?
Step in against Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is potential plan C.
Oh, you think the interim fight won't happen? Aspinall or Blaze, one of them goes out. Alex Pereira steps in?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Trust me. Trust me. That's not just my prediction. That is my dream.
Let me ask you this. This gets a little bit interesting as far as narratives and scripts, if you want to even call it that. If it is, let's assume it's Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall.
Honestly, hands down, Alex Pereira.
That's a tough one for me to like. And again, love Alex Pereira. I think he's the biggest star in the UFC right now. I don't know if he beats Aspinall. That's just me being genuine.
And then John Jones, you're comfortable with?
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Crazy. Number one, that's a crazy take. Number one,
it's not. Jones is old.
Number two, Tarzan banned. I'm telling you, I got mods banned for life for that comment. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Leon is above Alex pound for pound. That's
crazy.
He's more well-rounded. He didn't lie. He didn't lie.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Jones and Aspinall is how do you see that playing out between those two if they were to go against each other?
Plug says heavyweight is different, man. If I see Jones and Aspinall, I think Aspinall wins.
Okay, and then you think Aspinall beats Alex P?
It's close. I don't know. That's a tough, bro. I haven't even really thought about that enough. How do we even like predict this fight? You know what I mean? We never seen Alex Pereira at heavyweight, so it's tough. Like, you know what I mean? But he has been able to knock like essentially everybody out, so it's tough. I don't know, man. Don't like that answer, Hito?
No, I just don't think like how many people do you see try to attempt to take down Alex P? Like last 5 fights. Go against all strikers pretty much.
Jan Blachowicz was able to take him down, just not. Alex Pereira does a good job at least defending if he gets taken down until he gets his way back up. Not saying that Jan Blachowicz is John Jones. I understand that's different, and it is at heavyweight, so it is tough. What's up, Nothing is Original? Welcome back. Says shout out to UDC and the crew. Love from London. Let's go. What's up, Nothing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I like Chris's theory about maybe somebody gets injured, Pereira steps in for the interim title. That is if that happens, the world will go. I mean, headlines, trending on Twitter for Alex Pereira, even more so. So I love that. I love that idea, Chris, more than anything I could think of right now.
I think if you're in Alex Pereira is the face of the UFC.
Right.
If you're Dana, you want to risk him to potentially lose. It might as well be against a John Jones and a Tom Aspinall. I think you save him for a John Jones.
It looks like he doesn't want it though. Like if you hear Dana talk about that fight, he's basically saying no. Like he doesn't want to see Alex Pereira at heavyweight, essentially, which is kind of weird, right? That's like your biggest star. If he fails, he goes back down in weight. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
He didn't want John Jones fighting Francis Ngannou 3 years ago and waited for Ngannou to leave the UFC and then say, "Oh, he fumbled the bag." Really? Because he didn't fight. Like that fight should have happened 3 years ago, but that fight is gone. The fight that will happen is Alex Pereira versus John Jones.
Even Dana White said it himself. I don't know if you guys remember where years ago where he goes, if I'm John Jones, I stay at light heavyweight. I'd move up to heavyweight because he was talking about Francis Ngannou. So for him to switch up was like just weird. So you might be right. He might have been protecting John Jones all along. Who knows?
Speaking of John Jones, there was one fighter, from middleweight, and this was before Pereira jumped into UFC. Israel Adesanya. His dream was to fight John Jones. That never happened.
Yep.
But guess what? He will do what Israel Adesanya should have done a long time ago.
Imagine, guys, wow, that's crazy. If that fight happens, put Izzy on suicide watch. This guy stole his whole dream. He did everything that Izzy was supposed to do.
That is true.
Everything he put out there.
I just imagined something just now. Because if that fight, Pereira versus Jones, would happen, guess what? Two stars will put a bet on Jones to win. Israel Adesanya and Drake the Rapper.
Question for you, and I don't mean to get a little too gossipy, but it is interesting. Simple question. Is and I don't mean this as a rhetorical question. Is a genuine question. Is Adesanya jealous of Alex Pereira right now?
100%.
You think so?
Yes, 10 out of 10. Yes.
Dude, Pereira won, and he's putting a tweet out of like the arrow pointing at Pereira because he beat that guy one time. You know what I mean?
I beat that guy one time.
Out of like 5 times too, which is crazy. If you count the kickboxing fights. So
Pereira and Jones need to happen. It needs to happen just so honestly, like the movie that will be written for Alex Pereira and pretty much stealing Israel Adesanya's script is just that right there is a satisfying feeling right there.
Speaking of Adesanya, have you guys seen his face off with Drickus?
I did.
I'm not gonna lie, I did see that. I was like, you know what that face off reminds me of?
What's that?
No, you know what that face off reminds me of? The trilogy fight. Well, this is before the trilogy fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. How those guys stood at each other, and guess what? They didn't move until like how many minutes? Like 10 minutes or 12 minutes?
They stood there for a while. Speaking of Drickus and Adesanya, yeah.
And I'm like, God. This is a good epic middleweight grudge match, and
I agree, Chris.
I just predict something really big for next month of August. If Israel Adesanya wins, he'll be the first ever 3-time middleweight champion and the second generation. Hear me out. The second generation fighter to win the belt 3 times since Randy Couture.
Yeah. Yep. No, Adesanya will be the first one for. But we got a couple messages that I think are interesting that we must read and reply to. Tarzan says, in a pound for pound matchup, Leon subs Alex. I mean, there's even no reason to talk about that because that's accurate.
I don't get it. How does I don't get it. No, I just don't get it. Like how? Just stop.
Plug says Izzy will be the guy to say that he beat Alex P once. I keep seeing that message online, and I actually love it, man. Because of
I
course you
beat
guys
that guy
remember.
one time.
Yeah, remember Adesanya said that Alex Pereira would be that guy. So for him to be 100% wrong is just outstanding. Nothing is original says thoughts on Dana glazing and putting over John in the post fight pressers after Islam and Alex fights.
That was bad.
Let me get right back to that. Let me read the next two messages.
ADHD.
And
He has ADHD. I'm sorry. He has ADHD.
We're gonna focus on that question in 1 second. Let me read two more messages, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Alex is the face of the UFC, says Plugs. I think we all agree on that. If Alex beats Magomed in the co-main to Jones Stipe, he gets a heavyweight title fight. I love that. Back to and I don't mind that. Back to nothing is original. What he says again. Thoughts on Dana glazing and putting over John in the post-fight pressers after Islam and Alex fights. Simple question to you, Hito, and to you, Chris. Why? Why is he doing that?
I think,
like I said, he has ADHD.
He's a little bit delusional on what they're trying. I don't think he understands the question. It's not saying that he's not
Good point.
he's not the best fighter of all time. They're saying he's just not the best fighter of all time right now, like the pound for pound right now. And then when Dana was saying, but he was injured. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't help you there. We're talking about the best of the best here. We're not going to use injuries as an excuse. You know, if Joel Embiid gets injured in the playoffs every year, we can't say the Sixers should have been champions. You know, like, I'm sorry, he's not that guy right now. He's injured, and you know who's been fighting nonstop and winning and knocking people out is Alex Pereira. And Leon's last fight, he had a boring snooze fest with Colby Covington. So I don't think Leon should be there at number one. Alex Pereira fought more, and he's knocking people out. Sorry,
that is true. That is very true.
Or even Islam Makhachev. He's you know, at the end of the day, he beat Volkanovski twice, even though he's a 145 pounder. But then he did beat Dustin Poirier. He's active. So for the whole trying to put John Jones at number one desperately is just weird currently, right? To make him the number one pound for pound current fighter. He's not that. Maybe of all time, yes. But right now it's a little bit crazy.
Dana gets, and he's stubborn, so he gets in a mindset, and so I don't think he's gonna sit there and admit that he's wrong. And let's be honest here, Dana, he does a lot of things business wise right, so he's right a lot of the time. But when he's wrong, I don't think he can admit it, and he's wrong in a situation. It's like he's wrong about power slap.
and oh my god, and a funny thing about Dana being wrong. What was I gonna say about Dana?
He was wrong about Francis Ngannou getting his ass kicked by Tyson Fury, but guess what? I saw it otherwise.
You're and Dana has also said about or comments online. They're saying, yo, John Jones must have some dirt on Dana White, because for him to be defending him this much for no reason is a little bit strange. Leon set up a rear naked choke on Usman. Leon is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, and I know that's not a popular topic.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't recognize that. To my own self, I don't recognize that, because let me tell you something.
Stop it,
Leon Edwards. I don't know how many fights he has. Like, let's see, barely any fights. The last time he fought was just once, and that was late last year. No, not even once. Was twice, and that was late last year. Only twice. Pereira. Let's see. He fought 2 times. He's gonna fight 3 times this year. And for Leon Edwards, he's only gonna fight once, and that's it. Really, once.
Let me ask you this, Chris: who's a better rounded or all around better fighter? Is it Leon? Is it Pereira? Is it Islam Makhachev? Who's the best all around fighter?
John Jones.
Oh my God, this guy! What tells you that him having a split decision against Thiago Santos or a close fight against
that was 5
Dominic
years
Reyes?
ago, but let me tell you something about this decade, the 2020 decade. John Jones had 2 fights, 2020 and last year. Pereira had nine fights in UFC, even though that one of the 9 fights was 1 loss against Adesanya.
Right.
From 2021 to currently 2024, 9 fights active. Jones only 2 fights as of this current decade. The 2010 decade, he had a lot of fights, but this decade, only 2, and Pereira only 9.
No,
yeah, I know that wasn't the question of how many fights they fought. The question was who is the most well-rounded fighter. if you want to talk about most well-rounded fighter, I'm not saying Leon. I'm going to say John Jones.
I don't know if he's
I,
he's
I,
the
I
best.
respect.
Are
I
you about to
respect
say
that,
Leon is
but
a more
I can
well-rounded
say,
fighter than John
oh
Jones?
hell no, oh hell no, no, no,
Right
no,
now,
hell no.
yeah, he's the Islam Makhachev is probably more well-rounded than John Jones right now. We don't know if John Jones is a great striker at heavyweight. We just don't. We got to wait and find out. But he
Bro,
hasn't. He didn't even look
he
great
got
against
lucky.
Dominic Reyes.
He got lucky against a low graded heavyweight, aka Gone,
Yeah.
who is making a stupid movie. I don't know what movie is he making.
Yeah, he's not even focused on MMA right now. We have another message that's quite interesting. It says, Nothing is Original says, do you feel like this is a down period for mainstream appeal? He's talking about the UFC. There's a ton of talent, but not much crossover traction currently. O'Malley ain't it. He can't speak for Ish. Do you think it's a weird period for MMA making stars right now? Is it only Alex Pereira and that's it? Can they not build up other fighters, or are they okay?
I think they'll be okay. Some of your stars aren't like like O'Malley. They put so much investment in O'Malley, and he's just cringe. And I don't think he's the draw they thought he was going to be. But you know how Dana is. He's a loyalist to the end. He'll burn the house down before they pass on O'Malley. But there's always Marab, baby. No, I'm just playing.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What do you think, Chris? You think the UFC is gonna have trouble making stars, or they'll be okay?
They'll be, speaking of O'Malley, they'll have trouble finding a good event to make him the headline. But I could see him as a main. I mean, not a main, but a co-main event. But like they were supposed to have him as a co-main event for the Sphere in September, but they took him out. I'm like, I don't get it. Why they took him out? The Spear's going to be in Las Vegas. Sean O'Malley lives in Las Vegas. Like, and they took him out. I'm like, that doesn't. And they said, oh, because Aliyah Tapori versus Max, it hasn't been announced, but it should be announced. And I'm like, okay, when's it gonna happen? They said, oh, at Madison Square Garden. I'm like, that can't, because Jones is gonna headline MSG. It said December, but then they said, oh, I'm like, what do you mean otherwise? I don't know. Is it gonna happen either December or early 2025? That I want to know against. I'm talking about like O'Malley versus Dwalach Billy.
I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I'm glad you brought up the name Leon Edwards. If you guys remember, and UFC just posted this, I think 2 days ago, they posted the first fight between Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. Granted, Leon did eye poke him. That was tough. Bilal was crying in the octagon, understandably, because he probably thought he lost his vision. It was a little bit gruesome after I watched it back. They're going to fight again. Can we just quickly preview Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad?
Is this viewers? Okay, you don't want no viewership? Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, you go first, Hollywood Gito. Go first, then I go second.
I'll fall asleep standing up. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Wow.
It's going to be the most boring. It's going to be the most boring press conference. It's going to be a boring fight. And the only thing that might actually bring me some type of enjoyment in this fight is somehow Bilal wins, just to see Miller cry about how great Leon used to be. That's about it. There's nothing. This fight does nothing for nobody.
I don't mean to sound too controversial. UFC 304 will be better than 303.
Whoa, no.
No?
Let me be honest with you.
Who's on the rest of the card?
Most of the fights, they look ass. And I'm not going to lie, the only fight I'm going to watch, not the Edwards versus Bilal, what's his name? I'm going to watch Aspinall versus Blades.
Curtis Blades?
After that, I'll probably have sex with a beautiful woman.
Listen, the rest of the card, and shout out to you, Chris, for that. But the rest of the card, Aspinall versus Blades, Bobby Green versus Patty Pimblett.
Oh, that's lit.
We want to see
that's
that.
That's gonna be a good. Okay, that's why I want to see that. Already.
Mohammed
Mokaev
versus Manel Cape.
Oh,
okay, I want to see that fight.
Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. This is a good card.
It's a good
Arnold
card.
Allen sucks.
Who sucks? Arnold Allen.
Bro, he didn't do good against that fight against, what's that name of that Russian? Monsar Evloev.
Oh, he struggled. And then he got dogged by Max Holloway too. This card on paper is better than 303.
100%. You're right. No, I agree with that. Because you got Mokaev. He's up and coming, undefeated. You have obviously Patty the Batty's coming back. And then What do you mean? He's a superstar. He's a
What man
superstar.
calls himself the baddie? You would like a fighter that calls himself the baddie, which is horrible.
You like Leon Edwards? That's case closed.
The best knockout of all time.
And then, so wait, Aspinall and Blaze are the co-main?
Yes, sir.
That's disrespectful because they made Leon and Bilal the main.
Leon, why is that disrespectful? Is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world.
He's not.
He's headlining the fight.
It's not even accurate. It's not accurate.
One of the he might have the longest consecutive welterweight win streak current. He also beat Usman, a welterweight GOAT. People were calling him. Beats him twice. Beat Kobe. If he beats Bilal, he's kind of knocking down like bowling pins. He's kind of doing what Adesanya did in his stretch where he was just dominating the division. And then if Leon beats Shavkat and maybe Gary and who knows who else.
Wait, hold on.
Welterweight GOAT.
Hold on 1 second. Leon Edwards beating Shavkat Rahmana, bro. That's
you don't
not
think
gonna
so?
be an easy fight. No,
it won't be easy. I agree. It won't be
That's
easy.
not gonna be easy.
It won't be. It might be 55-45 or something like that.
Shavkat Rahmanov, he trains hard. He trains in the mountains, and I'm not gonna say Russia. Well, actually, Kazakhstan was once a part of Russia during the years of the Soviet Union.
What is he? Is he Asian? Is he Russian? What's the deal?
No,
He's all weird in the face.
He's Uzbekistan, I think.
No. Kazakhstan is. I mean, no, not Kazakhstan. Shavkat Rahmanov is from Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan was
I thought
once
he was
part.
Uzbekistan. Yeah.
No, who told you that? No, he's from Kazakhstan. Well, Kazakhstan was once part of Russia during the years of the Soviet Union until 1991 broke up. But you know.
Oh, he is Kazakhstan. You're right. This guy doesn't miss a beat. Okay. All right. Just one more question about Leon. I promise I won't talk about him anymore. If Leon does beat Bilal and then he beats Shavkat, is he the best welterweight of all time, Chris and George? I can't help it. I mean, talk to me.
No, man. He probably beat him by a boring unanimous decision.
But if he does,
bro,
you can't give him the welterweight go.
Hear me out. Unless if he surpasses the record of what was his name? What was the name of that guy? Usman and GSP.
Wouldn't he?
Look. When Usman lost, I'm not gonna lie. When Usman lost, his record stopped at 15 fights. 15 fights. And Leon Edwards, like really, bro, you had that one no contest, which kind of declined your so-called winning goal. And what's his current fight, like 4 or 5 fights or something?
I think I'm trying to look at how many defenses that Usman had. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6?
And guess what? GSP only has
6
9
defenses.
title defenses. I'm talking about title defenses. Leon Edwards only has how many? 1 and 2. Bro, you're not even there. He's nowhere.
But the win streak is crazy though. And you could argue better opposition than GSP. I think that's fair to say.
Well, understand this.
Well, I mean, if a no contest technically interrupts the win streak.
I mean, come on, tomato. That's not. Stop
Potato,
it.
potato.
Yeah. Like, listen, Leon beats Bilal, beats Shavkat. That's the welterweight goal. Quality is greater than quantity, says Tarzan. I agree. That's because Evloev is the truth, says Tarzan. Patty about to get exposed. His ego into thinking he's a good striker will be his downfall. The only thing that we could talk about this fight a little bit too. The only thing that worries me about Patty and Bobby Green is that Bobby Green's chin is not what it used to be. And if Patty catches him, he could hurt him. I still got Bobby Green winning. Any early predictions on this fight?
Wait, you guys got Bobby Green winning over Patty? Come on, man. Be respectful.
Yeah.
Bobby's been a punching bag for everybody. Come on.
He won his last fight, but
Barely.
I gotta give you credit.
Miller.
You've had a hot year. So let me ask you 3 questions.
Go ahead.
Bobby Green, Patty Pimblett, Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blaze, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. Just quickly give me your picks, because you've had a hot year. So I want to hear this.
Patty Pimblett, Muhammad Mokayev. Don't forget about him.
No, but I know you would have had him. I'm just about
Patty
the ones I don't know.
Tom Aspinall. you're doing this on purpose because you know I
No,
can't.
I'm just asking.
I can't. Oh man, Leon is Bilal's garbage. I'm rooting for Bilal. I'm sorry. I can't. I need Leon to get out of the picture. He's too boring.
All right, but if you had to bet on it, who would you
I
pick?
had to bet money on it. Leon beats him, but
Okay.
I tell you right now, I'm rooting for Bilal. That's how bad I'm
That's
tired
disgusting.
of Leon.
You said that out loud. I might clip that. That's disgusting. To root for Bilal.
It's because of you.
I mean,
Your delusion for Leon Edwards. It's got to stop.
Tarzan.
He needs to be humbled.
Tarzan, you hear this? This guy thinks I'm delusional, saying that Leon is the #1 pound for pound.
Tarzan won't be on the chat much longer. He's getting banned soon. Don't worry about that.
Danny Burns says Leon and Muhammad are two of the most boring fighters out. Oh my! I shouldn't have read that out loud. Danny Burns says Leon and Muhammad are two of the most boring fighters out there.
That is totally true. I cannot argue with that.
The Leon hate is just insane. By the way, we've been having a great podcast. I appreciate everybody that's watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe button, all that if you're new here.
All jokes aside, one last thing on Leon Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Does he do himself any favor for the hate? Does he do himself any favors for all the hate he receives?
Leon?
Yeah, he doesn't promote himself. He doesn't do. He's boring. And let's be honest. The dude got very upset, said he was going to kill Colby Covington in the ring. He couldn't even get the KO, or a finish. It was a boring 5-round fight. He dominated, but it was boring. Get the finish, man. People talking about your dead father. You couldn't even knock out this guy that you said is a bum. I'm sorry.
Tarzan says Leon Bilal 1 was low-key a banger, though. I watched it the other day. It was actually a good fight until the eye pokes. And Leon was about to cook him. Does he do himself any favors? That's a good question. I would say no, but I'll be honest, and I sound like a fanboy saying this, I don't care. I like that he doesn't care what people think about him, and he's just gonna go in there and win. Some people have the skills behind the mic. I think he realizes he doesn't have it, and he's just focused on fighting. I like it. Humble man that doesn't lose.
You have to be spectacular. Yes, he has one of the greatest knockouts of all time.
I like that. That's like music to my ears. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know what else he's remembered for? Other than that, Jorge Masvidal, 2-piece in a soda, or 3-piece in a soda. Like, you know what I mean? That's where he's memorable. 2 things. One of them, it was, let's just say it's a lucky head kick.
You don't have to add that part. You don't have to add that part.
But he got one knockout, and he's also remembered for getting pieced up behind the stage. Other than that, nobody knows Leon Edwards. So he's not doing things in the ring to, you guys want to like joke around about like Marab, or he doesn't do nothing in the ring, but then you want to give praise to Leon to have one knockout.
Nothing is original. Mm-hmm. The guy what?
He's boring.
Nothing is original says Bilal is on a 9-fight win streak. Just saying. Remember, he knows he will never get another chance for the title. Bilal will come to fight. And with that being said, wouldn't it be that much more amazing if Leon beats him? This guy's the GOAT. The welterweight GOAT. He's beating guys with 9-fight win streaks. He beat the Usman that was once considered the welterweight GOAT. He beat Colby Covington, who was like the dark horse of the division. Everybody said he would have a title if Usman wasn't around. He beats him as well too. I understand where George is coming from, where Hito's coming from about, Leon doesn't do himself any favors, and he's just not that guy. But listen, he might go down as a welterweight GOAT when he retires. I think that's fair.
I'm looking at all his fights. All his fights go to the end of the card. When's the last time this guy had a knockout besides Kamaru Usman?
Knocked out Usman, Peter Sobata in 2018. I think that might have been his last. He was about to knock out Bilal, but that didn't happen. Because of the eye poke, and he did sub a guy in 2016, and he was gonna knock out Hamza Shemaev, but the guy can't get over the flu, I guess. So
there you go, reaching. So this guy's a boring fighter. He's a boring fighter. He doesn't promote himself outside the ring. His fights are boring to watch. He had one lucky head kick. You stuck with it to this day.
It's not lucky because he dominated the It's not lucky because he dominated the second time around they fought, or the third time.
I mean, in that fight in itself was a lucky head kick. Not saying he's not better than Usman or whatever. I'm just saying in that fight itself was a lucky head kick knockout.
Which is an incredible feat if you're better than Usman, I think we could say. So listen, all right, I'll say this. I'm not disagreeing with you that maybe his fighting style isn't the best. I would say he fights to the level of his competition. So maybe Bilal would make it a fight where it's very interesting to see. You know what? I would bet right now that this fight is going to be better than people expected. I would say people expect this is going to be a 5 or even a 6. I'm going to again prediction that this fight will be at least an 8. Can we agree on that or no?
I've never seen somebody so down bad in 1 year than
remember this moment.
You were confident. Can we agree with that?
No, remember this fight.
Put a poll up.
All right,
put a poll up.
Can we agree that this fight will be better than people expect?
No.
No?
No.
What do you think, Chris?
Absolutely not.
We have Joe on the line as well, too. Joe takes about 37 seconds to get on. AK said Leon and Bilal are like the same dude. The most unlikable, great strategic fighters on the roster, says AK. This Leon disrespect is just insane. Joe, if you ever want to unmute your mic and talk, that'll be great.
Yeah, Miller. First of all, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Chris? I feel like what's up, Hito? I feel like I haven't seen.
I gotta go, boys. Thanks for jumping in, Joe. Good seeing you, but I do gotta get off.
Yep, yes, sir.
I gotta get off too because I'm eating right now.
Much love, Chris. I'll have a great back and forth with Joe. Much love, bro.
Yes, get these bums off.
Let's hear it, Joe. What's on your mind?
So, Miller, I want to say this one thing.
I'm all ears.
I never want to hear this much Leon talk again on this podcast.
I think we should talk about it more.
This was so cringy to listen to. Just trying to find some type of conversation on Leon Edwards, one of the most boring fighters in the UFC right now. Probably one of the most boring champions in UFC history.
Joe, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Have you ever heard the story of Jesus?
You're talking about the Son of God?
Yes, him specifically.
Yes, I've heard of that story.
Wasn't he unfairly ridiculed?
Yeah, he was Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Leon is Jesus, but
yeah, I really hope you're not going there, because this is kind of crazy.
No,
go ahead.
Hear me out. Jesus was unfairly ridiculed, maybe because he was humble, maybe because he wasn't saying the most outrageous things. But at the end of the day, good man.
That's actually the exact opposite, Miller.
Good man, and people, unfairly accused him of being something he wasn't, a blasphemer and all these things, right? When he was truly the Son of God, right? I think we could agree on that.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to fighting, I'm not gonna push it too far. Don't worry, I'm not saying Leon is God or anything like that. I'm just saying Leon is
really scaring me. Go ahead.
Leon is being unfairly judged because he might be humble, because he might be meek in character, just like maybe Jesus was. But just the same way, and let me see, I'm trying to think about this out loud.
I'm trying to follow you.
The same way Jesus, as a man on earth, was the best in his era.
Right.
I'm just saying Leon could very well be the best welterweight in his era.
Let me just say this. Okay.
And he's being falsely ridiculed. That's all I'm saying.
Let me say this. No one is falsely ridiculing Leon Edwards.
They are. They are.
No one
and
is.
That's why we need a witness. That's why we need to testify, Joe.
We don't need. You're not John the Baptist of Leon Edwards, Miller.
I used to have dreads once. That's a fun fact, but okay. True story.
Okay, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
No one is ridiculing Leon Edwards.
That's not what we're doing.
No. Can I finish, please?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, because I let you talk your little spiel that made almost no sense. Like you barely had it by a string. Like you finally saved it at the end. So let me say this, okay? Leon Edwards, no one is ridiculing him. What we are ridiculing, Miller, is your take on Leon Edwards. Are you getting it now? No one is ridiculing Leon Edwards per se. What we're doing is hearing you talk about Leon Edwards, your Miller Lite takes that you have, and we are criticizing your drunk takes that you continue to spew on this channel. And so that's what we're ridiculing. We're ridiculing your take on Leon Edwards. Yeah, does sometimes Leon Edwards, does he may catch a stray every now and then on the channel because of how you talk about him? Yes, I will admit that. But no one is going out of their way to ridicule Leon Edwards. Does that make sense?
Do you know who the author of Corinthians and Romans and majority of the New Testament
You're
is?
talking about Pablo.
The Apostle Paul, right? So
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is that I'm like Paul. Another example for you.
This is a crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Paul.
Keep repeating it.
He was an apostle, a witness of Jesus, and he people thought he was crazy because he used to persecute the church, and then he became the persecuted. I think many of us have persecuted Leon Edwards, saying that, that he's not as good as he is, that, when he fights Usman, he's going to lose again. And I'm just saying people have to, come to the realization that, he is something that they didn't necessarily at first imagine, because he's boring, because he might be weak in character. People are not defending him. I'm just saying, I was like you as well too. I was lost. Now I'm found. I was like Paul. I used to judge Leon. Leon is boring. Leon
this is embarrassing.
It's not exciting.
This is really embarrassing.
Leon isn't this. Leon isn't that. The scales have been removed out my eyes. I can see this unbiasedly, and I'm just saying, yeah, he might not be the best talker, but when it comes to all around fighter,
we're not even
good.
We're not even talking about. We're not talking about all around fighter. That's his strength. Leon Edwards is an all-around fighter. That's his strength. Miller, what you're not getting is he does nothing special. See what I'm saying? He is a great striker. Great ground game.
Why does that matter?
He has a good ground game.
Why does that matter that he does nothing special?
Because in order to stand out, you need to be special. I'll give you an example. Alex Pereira. Special.
No, you don't.
Yes,
they
you
didn't think
Yes,
Jesus was special. The man did all these
Miller,
miracles, and they
yeah, he was doing Miller.
You can say Leon's miracle was almost
Miller,
like was a head kick.
It's really crazy.
And people still doubt him. He had one of the best knockouts of all time in history.
Yes,
and people
he was getting
still were like, no, not good enough.
You get that, right? You get that he was losing the entire fight, and then he came back. Yeah, he has the best comeback victory ever.
That makes it that much more special.
The fact that I'm here, we're talking about Leon Edwards,
is
making me sick to my stomach.
You know what? Let me give you.
I need to use the bathroom.
Let me give you a quick history lesson. Can you still hear me as you proceed to the bathroom?
Hold on, let me take a crap. Hold on. This is making me sick. This conversation.
Wait, I'm supposed to wait for you to take a crap.
No, go ahead. I'm walking over there right now.
Okay. Let me because this is fun for me as far as the story of Jesus. Do you know the Old Testament? The way they spoke about the man that would redeem Israel, right? They spoke of him as he was like a warrior, a king. So when Jesus comes and he was a bit humble and he didn't do things exactly the way people wanted him to, they criticize him. They call him a blasphemer. They crucified him, right? He wasn't what they expected him to be. I think we expect the best fighter in the world to also be the most exciting. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'm not
all around fighter. He's that good.
Yeah, he is nice. But Miller, you're forgetting something. There's actually a fighter who is the best all around fighter in the UFC, and he knocks people out. And his name is Ilya Taporia. So when you're talking about
was disgusting. All right,
see, when you're talking about when you're talking about a fighter who is all around and is special. That's Ilya Taporia. You have Leon Edwards, who is he's a good fighter, Miller. No one is saying that he's garbage, first of all. I'm not saying it. Nobody's saying it. Your take that he's one fight away from being like the greatest welterweight champion ever or something is completely ludicrous.
Quality
I
over
want
quantity.
I want a drug test. I want you to take a drug test live on stream, and I want to see what it pops for. Because what the things that you say about Leon Edwards literally make me sick. And I'm literally on the
You know how disgusting your take is. You know how disgusting your take
Hold on,
is.
I'm on the toilet, Miller. Hold on.
I know you can listen while you do your business. Your take. I thought you were going somewhere. Maybe gonna mention Pereira or John Jones. You mentioned
yeah.
You mentioned Ilia Topuria. That's your go-to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Pereira doesn't have a great ground game.
It's still LaCroix.
And John Jones' striking is not the best. You know, he usually gets a hold of people and mauls people. And I'm not saying he can't knock anybody out, but if we're talking about an all-around fighter, you want to look at Islam. It's probably better all around. And then Ilia Topuria right now as a champion. I'm just looking at the champions right now.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the champions in the UFC right now, I can name 2 fighters that are better all around than him. I would say Islam Makhachev is a better all-around fighter than him. And I would say that Ilia Topuria is a better all-around fighter than him.
How?
Because they are elite. They are elite at least one thing. So Islam is great at striking, and then he is elite at wrestling, right? And Ilia Topuria is great at wrestling, and he is elite at striking, knocking people out, right? So Ilia Topuria is knocking people out, and Islam is finishing people on the ground, right? And then you have Leon Edwards, who is squeaking by with decisions. You see what I'm saying, Miller?
Thank you for the 5, Hito. You ever heard the saying in the Bible as well too, where many will come after me, pretending to be the Messiah? I think that's what you're doing with Ilia and all these other fighters. At the end of the day, Leon's track record is proven. Ilia isn't proven yet. Come on, even Islam Makhachev isn't proven yet.
Okay, that's a fair. Islam Makhachev, I think we can agree, is more proven than Ilia Topuria. Can we agree? Can we agree there?
Yes.
Okay, so we agree there. So I would say that I will give you that Leon Edwards is more proven than Ilia Topuria. Okay, I'll give that to you. Now, with my eyes that I watch things with, you can see that Ilia Topuria is a better fighter than Leon Edwards. 100%.
Your eyes could fool you. I mean, Thomas needed to see to believe.
Miller, these Bible references that you keep on saying are absolutely crazy.
Blessed are
Talking
those
about Leon
that believe
Edwards.
without seeing.
Blessed are those. Miller, it also says do not get drunk.
We have
the Bible.
Nothing is original, and this is his first time calling. You're muted, by the way. Let's see what he has to say. Hopefully, he says something soon. I'll wait for him to be unmuted. Yeah, I don't think I'm drunk. I think I'm speaking. They thought Jesus was drunk. They thought all the oh no, never mind. Just had to read something real quick. Sarge, Nothing is original. Welcome. You're unmuted, but we don't hear you. So far we've been having a great episode though. This has been a good one. A little maybe more Bible reference than usual, but that was actually kind of fun because just to educate Joe today has been fun.
No one's been educating me, Miller. You sound drunk. No one agrees with you. Your take can actually never come true.
Danny Burns says feather-fisted Nate almost slept Leon. They almost caught Jesus.
Exactly.
And he would just sneak
First,
out
please stop it.
Before the Romans would get to him until it was the appointed time to do so.
Jesus literally went to hell and beat the devil. Okay, can you stop, please, Miller?
Feather-fisted Nate, I mean, Leon was winning that whole fight.
And he was losing the entire Usman fight bad.
It makes it that much more remarkable. Hello.
Hi.
What's up, man? What's on your mind? We're talking some Leon, and I think you have something to say.
So you can't hear me?
I what?
Yes? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. How are you doing, DC?
Good, man. How you doing today?
I am not a blasphemous so-and-so, and I had no intention of actually gracing you with my presence verbally, but there's a lot going on this stream, and it's like,
Mhm.
at some point, we need to put perspective into things, and to
Okay.
call Taporia elite after just winning a belt on an aging Volkanovski is a very interesting take. And interesting, the other caller said he's elite at striking, which is hilarious because Taporia, prior to coming into the UFC, was primarily known as a grappler. So we need to ask ourselves a question. Who did he knock out? Name the names he's knocked out.
A man that was just previously knocked out on short notice. I think he subbed Bryce Mitchell.
Head kick knockout. Let's remember that. That's important. It wasn't like a flash knockout. It was you are seeing stars and stripes, as the Americans like to say. He was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then rolled over again on another short notice when it was clear after that concussive KO by Makhachev, he should have took clearly a year off.
Absolutely. He came back way too early.
I'm not. So what's your point? What's your point?
Look, my point is you're saying again. Okay, you said these people are more well-rounded than Leon Edwards. So
yes.
Okay, let's do this. Leon's last fight. Okay, I'm not gonna say Leon doesn't have boring fights. Boring fights and more well-rounded are two very separate issues.
Thank you.
You can be more well-rounded and be boring.
Yeah, unless it's both. He's well-rounded and he has boring and he has boring fights.
Okay, that's so fascinating because the man has the best knockout of all time. But okay,
thank you.
We'll do that again.
Yeah, after losing the whole fight.
Okay, no, but that's not again. Miss me with that. And Leon set an example that every fighter should follow. You don't fight for 24 minutes. You fight for 25. This idea that he had the best comeback victory of all time. He won within the allotted time. He won within the allotted time. Yes or no?
Yeah.
And
it was a comeback win fight. What do you mean? It's the greatest knockout in championship history.
And I would understand.
But he came back. He was getting dogged the whole fight. Everyone here watched the fight. He was getting dogged the entire fight, which is fine.
Impressive. Which is more impressive.
Right. It's impressive that he was able to stay in mentally focused 100%. It's impressive that he was mentally focused after getting dogged for 24 minutes. That's impressive.
What makes it more impressive too as well is that it would be one thing if that was lucky and they fought again and then it's a close fight or he loses. He dominated when they saw them when they saw each other a third time. Clearly the better fighter. It wasn't a fluke head kick. It was the elevation issue because when they fought again, he dominated. Colby, boring fight, but he dominated. He's beating the top guys, arguably the welterweight GOAT in Usman, decisively, and one of the best contenders of all time in Colby. You can't say GSP has names like Colby and Usman. You can't say, I guess you could call Leon the welterweight GOAT as far as what he's been able to do if we're talking about quality over quantity.
But we're not. He's not even past Usman in welterweight status. He's not.
To be, but again, he was on a win streak prior.
It doesn't matter. We rank these things as a champion. As a champion.
He didn't get a title shot until
then. And this is the man that turned down Chimaev.
Okay, so what you're arguing is with the eye test that Leon looks like the best welterweight champion ever. That's what you're saying.
So he's the best. Okay, no, see?
With your eyes. That's what you're saying, with your eyes. Because as a champion, he only has 3 fights or whatever, right?
But the eye test doesn't dictate if a fight is better than another fighter.
Okay, do you think Usman...
This win.
Do you think Leon Edwards looked great against Colby Covington? You think that?
Again, it takes 2 men to fight. If one man is actively approaching a fight and the other man is actually
Colby Covington. Did you watch that fight? Colby Covington was in his face the whole time.
I watched it twice.
Leon.
Colby Covington was in Leon Edwards' face the whole time. He didn't do it. He was scared. Leon Edwards was fighting safe.
It would be
Leon Edwards was fighting safe. There's nothing wrong with fighting safe. I'm just saying that he fights safe and he's a good champion, but he fights safe. He doesn't do anything special.
It would be
What's
one
wrong with
thing-
that? There's nothing wrong with that.
One thing real quick. It'll be one thing if it was a boring fight and it were close, but Leon dominated that fight.
Like, it wasn't even close. Also, let's be fair. and this
Islam
is
is
why I
having
had a lot to say.
debatables, right? Like Islam had a debatable with Volkanovski until the submission against Poirier. You could say it was a decent, maybe not super close, but it was a back and forth fight. Leon hasn't had a back and forth fight against arguably the welterweight GOAT in Usman, and then with Kobe. Again, I understand the Kobe fight was boring, but he dominated. He's been the most dominant, not the most exciting, but the most dominant.
If
Usman's fights were way more dominant. What are you talking about?
And Leon beats him twice.
Yes, he beat him.
Twice.
The first time he's getting dogged, and yes, he beats him. The second time he wins, that's a legit win. He wins for
Decisively.
real. Like,
so what does that mean?
decisively.
What
He
do-
has
what do you
two
mean
decisive.
Pause. What do you mean a legit win? A win?
He has
like,
two.
what-
I mean decisive. When I say legit, I mean decisive.
That's not. When did that become the new standard in MMA? By the way, of you need to win decisively in order.
You don't.
I see this a lot nowadays. A win is a win.
Yes, because this is why, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because when we're judging status as a champion, you have to look at the body of work. You can't just look at win columns. You have to see how they win. Why is McGregor?
Okay.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
How is
Okay,
McGregor
go.
winning his fights? Is McGregor winning his fights by 5-round decisions, or did he rise to stardom and is considered a legend because he's knocking dudes out with one punch? You see what I'm saying? You have to judge when you get to the highest levels. When you get to the highest levels of this sport, you have to judge the fighters by the tightest of margins. You can't just look at, a win is a win. Yeah, you could get disqualified. A guy could get disqualified. Does that count as? Is that the same thing as someone getting knocked clean out? No,
that's
it's
not
not
a legit win. That's not a legit
No,
win.
but I'm
there's
saying,
a
but
big
it
difference.
is though. You see what I'm saying? It is
Pause.
technically.
Let's break down what you said. The difference between Conor McGregor and someone like Leon Edwards is Conor was calling his shots. Ergo, why Conor is so much bigger of an international star than Leon. Conor was calling his shots before he got into the octagon.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. That's part of it. But my point is
Leon's not that type of fighter. Leon's
right.
saying,
He doesn't
I'm
have the
going to
power.
win.
Yeah, he doesn't have the
I
power.
wouldn't say
He doesn't have it. He obviously doesn't have it. He obviously doesn't have the power. I'm not saying he
but he
can't.
knocked out the man on a 15-fight win streak.
Yeah,
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Yeah, with a leg kick.
Usman, let me ask you this question. Okay, a knockout's a knockout, right?
100%. But getting hit in the head with a shin is a lot easier to knock somebody out than getting hit with a left hook or a punch.
The narrative right after that fight, it was a flash knockout. It was a lucky.
It was a flash knockout.
It wasn't though.
What are you talking? Do you watch fighting? That's a definition of a flash knockout.
I'm from England.
Then you know that it's a flash knockout.
On BT Sports in England, his coach literally put out the footage prior to the fight happening of them training the head kick.
Yes, that's what you do. You train to land kicks and punches. That's great.
That's not a flash. You can't train a knockout. What are we talking about?
A flash knockout. It's a flash knockout because it came out of nowhere. He just randomly hit him with a leg kick and he knocked him out.
But
that's
it
like
wasn't random. Again, and this is showing.
He set it up.
This is the difference. This is the difference between someone that understands what they're watching.
Yes, you said. Of course, he set it up. He set it up with his left hand or whatever. He went high and then he with his hand and then he went with the kick. He faked the punch and went with the kick. So it's a great shot. Wait, hold on. He's a great fighter. Okay. It seems to me that you're like conflating things. No one is saying, I'm not saying that he's not a great fighter. No one is saying that.
How do you
I'm
put
saying
Ilya
that
above him though? That's crazy.
Because I'm talking about with my eyes. Now, listen, I already told you I concede with Ilya, right? I already told you that I concede. But me personally, this is my personal opinion, right? Mm-hmm. When I'm watching the fights, Ilya Topuria in his weight class looks like a monster compared to Leon Edwards.
He hasn't had to face anybody.
And I think that's fair. And I think that's fair.
They haven't fought the same caliber.
How is that unfair? Hold on, but how is what I'm saying unfair? I think anyone who watches fighting understands that Topuria is a much more dangerous fighter when it comes to finishing capabilities than Leon Edwards. Is that not true?
That doesn't make you a better fighter.
Yeah, he hasn't been.
It does make you a better fighter because you're more dangerous in the ring. What do you mean?
He hasn't been tested
when he has all-around game. He has an all-around game.
Let me ask you. Okay, DC. Let me ask you this question really quick, very quick. Who is closer to their prime right now, Usman or Volkanovski?
Who is? I don't. Right now,
Yes.
closer to their prime.
As in, like, who is closest to like their fighting prime presently? After what's occurred in both of their careers, Volkanovski or Usman?
Volkanovski looks done to me. I think Usman has a little bit more in the tank, personally.
Okay, you're making my point for me.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, he even went to 185, and it almost seemed like he would
I
beat
thought
Hamza in the
he
5
beat
round.
Chimaev.
This is
Yeah, it was
absolutely
close.
crazy.
It was close.
This conversation is absolutely crazy. Anyone who watches fighting, boxing, UFC, I don't care. You know, yeah, you're watching a great fighter, and you can see, okay, this dude is great. He's getting wins. He's a great champion. And then you see somebody like Mike Tyson, and you're like, this dude is better than this dude is better, and I would put my money on him. That's all I'm saying.
Perfect analogy. Right now, is Dmitry Bivol better than Arthur Beterbiev?
Is Dmitry Bivol better
That's
than
a
Arthur
great question.
Beterbiev? That is a great question.
One's-
I think
One's
they're a
all
lot
skill
closer.
and one's all knockout potential.
Yeah, but I think that if they were to fight, I think Arthur Beterbiev would win that fight. Me personally.
And again, and maybe that is the pace. But I'm saying right now, based on the two style matchups, one that is a technical savant and one that is a broading.
Hold on.
That is. Right?
Yeah. Okay. But Bivol is looking. I watch Bivol's fights. Bivol looks better in his fights than Leon Edwards does in his fights. I'm sorry, he does. And I think anyone who watches fighting and knows fighting and watches boxing, have watched hundreds of fights, I can tell you, Bivol looks better in his fights than Leon Edwards does in his fights.
I don't
That's
know how
not
you
even
say,
close.
I don't know how you say better when Leon's fights hasn't been close.
Miller, just be honest. No one is saying that Leon Edwards is not a great fighter.
Right.
There are levels to the fight game.
But his fights are not close.
Miller, when you're saying they're not close, they're not. He's not killing people.
He killed Usman.
He's winning.
Dominated Colby. Nate dominated him until one punch.
How many finishes does Leon Edwards have in the UFC?
I don't think finishes mean.
Don't, again, that's
right.
Noise.
Finishes don't mean anything now. I
guess
finishes
don't mean anything.
It's great for your. It's great for your resume. It's great for your career. It's great for your paycheck. It doesn't mean anything as far as like skill. It's not crazy.
It doesn't mean anything as far as skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why I asked you about
Beterbiev.
That's why I asked you the question: who's better, Beterbiev or Bivol?
Yeah, you can have a skilled.
Like no. Let me quick. This is the perfect analogy that I gave you for a reason. Because Bivol, remember the criticism, and you know this, DC, because you pay attention to boxing. Everyone was criticizing Bivol up until his last fight. That it's been 15, 13, 12 fights where he's never got a knockdown. He's never got a knockout.
That's true.
Does he even have punching power in his hands?
It doesn't matter. He looks great. He's tagging people.
I would say the same about Leon.
Leon Edwards is not looking as good in his fights as Bivol is in his fights. Right. Be honest. Just be honest.
We'll get back to this one, but we do have a question that someone in the chat wants.
Hold on. Bivol whooped on Canelo Alvarez. Whooped on him.
Leon whooped on Colby.
Colby Covington is now Canelo Alvarez. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Canelo
this is crazy.
Canelo Alvarez knocks out people.
No, this is crazy.
Bivol didn't knock out Canelo.
And this is crazy.
All right, question for you. We got an important question.
You're talking about opponents, and then you're saying Colby Covington. Then you're bringing up the name Colby Covington. This is absolutely insane.
That's who he fought last. But question.
I know this is crazy.
Ask him if he thinks Ilya would beat Islam? Question mark.
Do I think Ilya would beat Islam?
Yes.
Oh.
I would say yes.
That's
my opinion.
Wow.
That's my opinion. Yes, Ilya would beat Islam. That's my opinion.
All right. Second question, which is that's already crazy enough, Joe.
It would be Ilya would be the best striker Islam's ever faced. Yes.
Listen, that alone tells me everything I think I need to know. But the follow-up question is, and then if Islam would beat Leon? Question mark.
Would Islam beat Leon Edwards?
Yes.
That's a tougher one. That's a toss-up to me.
That's a tougher one?
Yes, that's a toss-up to me. Yes, that's a toss-up.
Can I ask a question?
This plugs.
That's a toss-up.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're a fan of Ilya, I think. I don't know how you could say he
That's
beats
a toss up.
Islam.
Hold on, because you're saying
My-
Islam would
my
have to
only
go
take
up.
is-
You're saying Islam would have to go up in weight. That's why I'm saying.
I'm a fan of
Ilya has
too.
fights. Hold on, Ilya has fights already at 155. He already has fights
One
at
fight.
155.
One fight.
Okay, but I'm saying
One
he
fight.
has fights at 155. He knocked the dude out 155. So we can say that we know at least what Ilya looks like at 155. We don't know what Islam looks like at 170. That's why I say it's a toss up. That's why.
We know what Ilya looks at 155?
Yes. He knocked out the Brazilian dude. Bad.
That's not Islam Makhachev.
No, I understand, but I'm saying
Islam is huge for 155.
Right,
Ilya,
and I'm saying I know what Ilya Taporia looks like at 155. He has one knockout at 155.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you think Ilya beats Max?
good question. That's a good question.
See, this is what I'm saying. These styles make fights. So when I'm looking at, can Ilya Taporia neutralize the wrestling of Islam enough to keep it on the feet? And I think yes, he can. Okay, so that's why I think, and then I edge it out for Ilya. Right now, we're talking about a battle straight on the feet. Max versus Ilya. That's a toss up to me. See, because
So
styles
one
make
fight
fights.
that-
I can't just give you like oh, this guy's better at, and he's gonna win no matter what. No, that's not how fighting works.
I agree with Danny Burns. He says big weight difference. That's why I would put Islam above Ilya. Where when it comes to
And I wouldn't be
Islam,
mad. I wouldn't be mad. Islam probably should be the favorite in that fight. If they were to fight, Islam should be the favorite in that fight. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. He should be.
I would be way more confident picking Islam against Ilya as I would Islam against Leon. And I don't know how people could see it otherwise.
Say it again.
I would have more confidence picking Islam against Ilya than I would Islam against Leon. You're saying
Absolutely.
you
Yes.
would have more
Without
confidence. No, but you're saying, Joe, I think that you would have more confidence Islam beating Leon than you would in Islam beating Ilya. Which to me is just crazy.
Yes.
That's
100%.
That's insane.
You know why? Because
Wild.
Because I saw Leon Edwards versus Usman 1. That's why.
Okay, so please ask me this question, man.
Yeah.
What does Ilya
We've seen it
do?
happen already.
Okay, question. What does Ilya do better than Islam?
He strikes better. What do you mean?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know.
I
He's
don't
a
know
better
about
striker.
that.
What do you mean? Islam
Islam
couldn't finish. Hold on. Islam
Remember-
couldn't finish Volkanovski with a full camp. Couldn't finish him.
You-
Arguably lost that fight. Arguably.
You could say
Look, you got-
Volkanovski was or you could say Volkanovski was the sloppy seconds for Ilya. If you really want to like
Okay. That's fair. Okay, that's fair. But still, he had a full camp. So he had a full camp.
But
So-
we're talking about a much short. Okay. Also, remember, there's the unknown of unknowns when it comes to this. Is like rarefied air, prime Volkanovski.
Mhm.
Where
I mean, you can say that people have lost
Yeah,
fights
but
and
the
then
big
come back.
difference is, and why I say there's a difference is Volkanovski at that point in time had proven himself against much better caliber opposition than Taporia has currently.
Okay, listen. You do not want to read off Leon Edwards wins in the UFC. They are not pretty.
Yeah, but that's all you go back to.
No, but I haven't even mentioned that yet. This is my whole point.
I think they're very pretty.
Leon Edwards' resume in the UFC is good. It's not great. Let's
It's
just
better
keep
than-
it.
it's better than-
Okay, I know.
It's better than Ilya's.
Is it better than Usman's?
No,
This is what I was going to
not.
ask. This is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to ask. Okay,
it's not
quick
better
question.
than Usman's.
Okay,
No,
quick
it's
question.
not.
Quick question. If Usman beat Leon, where would you rank Usman right now?
The greatest welterweight ever, no question.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay.
You know why? Do you know why? Hold on, I'll tell you why. It's not because it's Leon Edwards. It's because he would have broken GSP's record. That's why. That's why I said that.
I don't think
If he-
GSP's record
if
is
he-
that impressive, to be honest. I know that sounds
It's
blasphemous.
that you are. Yeah, that's like
Blasphemous.
a hot take. That's a hot take, Miller.
No,
No,
okay,
a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people. Feel
No,
like,
Miller, that's a hot
who,
take. Come on.
Who was he
That
beating?
is a hot
Like
take.
Johnny? No, he's still. No, I'm not saying. Okay, let me try to clarify myself. I'm not saying that GSP skill wise wasn't amazing. And I would say he might potentially beat Usman if they both fought in their prime. I just think the division was somewhat weak at that time. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't mean that he's not like the best skill wise or all around. Just the division was weak. Look at the names: Koscheck, Jake Shields, grappler, Dan Hardy. You know what I mean? Nick Diaz.
That's the one. That's the one I remember.
Yeah, Johnny Hendricks, Michael Bisping. You know what
Hendricks
I mean?
as well.
Yeah, but Miller, you can't fault people.
He could have lost the Hendricks one. He could have lost Hendricks.
Yeah, but you can't fault people.
And there's that too. Right.
You can't fault people. It's hard judging eras. You can't fault people for fighting the best in their era. You know
Agreed.
what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like Roy Jones, he didn't really have like the greatest middleweights at the time. Like the level of competition wasn't all the way up there. But eye test wise, Roy Jones was great, just like GSP. That's all I'm saying. Like the resume isn't all the way there. So resume doesn't answer everything.
How much credit do you give GSP for coming back after 4 years, fight Bisping, subbing him, and then bouncing again?
That's tough because I'm not the biggest Bisping fan.
Brother, I'm from England, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Bisping was lucky and mid, and the fact that he's in the UFC Hall of Fame to me delegitimizes the whole thing. Can we talk about the Hall of Fame for a second? What has happened to that thing?
It's a joke. So
listen, they put it's not a joke. It's not a joke. What it is it's people who have put in their dues with the UFC. That's number one, right? And
so
then two, hold on. And then two, either you have a belt or you were a perennial contender for years and years and years. See what I'm saying?
So we're giving losers a child.
Yeah, if you want to say that.
Oh my
God.
Yeah,
there's that's.
Don't get me twisted.
I won't disagree. I don't disagree with you.
Listen, guys. You guys could continue the conversation. I do have to get out of here. Let's continue this next Wednesday. I would love to. We'll maybe even have Trey. I'm sorry that I got to leave soon, but I do want to give a chance. Any last thoughts, Joe and Sarge, which is nothing in the chat, because I don't want to just leave without you guys getting your last word. But nothing is original. And Joe, any last thoughts? And then I'll close it out. And you guys can stay and talk after that. I just got to get. I stayed a little longer than
I gotta be out too, but I'll say my last thoughts. Here's my last thoughts. That Leon Edwards, I want to make this clear, is a great fighter. Okay, he doesn't do anything. This is my opinion. He doesn't do anything particularly special. He is a great all-around fighter. Maybe if you want to say he does something special, maybe his footwork is special. If you want to say something like that, his footwork is special.
This is crazy.
Okay?
And
then my second point, I want to see Charles Oliveira get that rematch against Islam for the title. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
Because Chandler, I don't think Chandler's going to take it. I don't think Chandler's going to take it with McGregor hanging, that fight over his head. I don't think he would take it, in my opinion.
I love Oliveira. I just think it's a hard sell.
How is it a hard sell? If Chandler's going to fight Conor McGregor, then how is Oliveira? Then Oliveira would be the.
He lost to Armin, to then get the rematch is just not.
I can't see it.
You know what I mean. I don't think the average fan is gonna be excited for that. That's why. And I love Oliveira. But I just don't think right now he needs. If he would have won that fight, that's different. But he lost to Armin, so I think it's a hard sell.
A quick hot take.
Yeah, what's up?
I don't see Islam staying at lightweight much longer.
You think he's too heavy? I do feel he struggles with making that weight.
I think he's moving up. That's why he keeps talking about facing Leon. I don't think Islam can comfortably make that weight anymore.
No, that's fair. That's he's big for the division, and I think he struggles with that. And his gas tank maybe even showed a little bit against Volkanovski the first fight. I know that was a while ago, but or maybe he just had a bad weight cut. But he is big for the division. He's massive. So I think he would find himself at 170 soon. Any last thoughts besides that? Nothing is original before I get out of here.
Very quickly, normally I just watch. I never really speak, but I had to speak this week. I'd love to chat again next week. Very quickly.
Yeah,
Leon's a great fighter. I will just say there is only one thing. I do worry about Leon's gas tank because I don't feel like he's fought anyone that pushes at a relentless pace. But outside of that, this is a great show. I've been a big fan for many years. I appreciate you having me on. And that's pretty much it.
Nah, much love, man. Feel free to come back next week. And I do agree with you. Maybe we could talk about that more extensively next week. I do think Bilal's a tougher fight than people give him credit for. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah. Yep.
Really
all right, much love, man.
Much love, man. Appreciate it.
Later, man. Appreciate it. Nothing is original. It was cool to have him come through and talk. A new person that will talk and chat. We have Joe. We have Trey that always comes through. We have George, which is Hito. We have some good names that always come through and give their opinion. We have Drew. We have Trey for next time. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I stayed way longer than I expected, and the wifey's probably going to kill me. So let me get out of here. #1 commentary channel on YouTube. Please, guys, feel free. If you guys have video ideas, hit me up through Discord or Instagram. Let me know, and we'll have a cigar talk. I'll sit outside, and I'll just talk some UFC. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about specifically, let me know. #1 commentary channel on YouTube. We'll be back next Wednesday for a commentary, and hopefully soon for or we'll be back next Wednesday for a live stream, and hopefully soon for a podcast.